come to you today on a very exciting note. We're talking careers. As a young person, the future is built up of endless opportunities out there for you. And today we're talking aeroplanes, we're talking aviation. It's a great privilege and honor today for me to be sitting here and talking aeroplanes. And as a young person that we have in studio today, ke motho a monyenyana haholo dilemong, mme re tlile mona ho tla mmona kajeno hobane o hlaphantsha le ho netefatsa hore ditoro di ka phethahala. Ntate
Network.
ke a amohela.
Le buile nna ntate.
Ke a leboha. Lebitso la hao mang?
Nna ke Teboho Ntshaba. Hae ke Lesotho.
O tswa Lesotho?
Hantle ke le Ribe. Hlotse Mankwane.
Ona.
Okay. I grew up Lesotho with big dreams. I was basically in love with cars, planes, adrenaline basically. That's what I've always loved, I basically moved from Lesotho, moved to South Africa. I wanted to be a pilot, but funny enough, there was something that stopped me, there was, you need science, you need this, and I had not done science, so it was a bit of a discouragement, until, my mom drove me. My mom is a very motivating, she's actually my role model.
My name is Hlompho Sekate, and when I grow up, I'd like to be a forensic scientist, which is basically investigative science. I like forensic science because it feels like one solving a puzzle every day there at work. And I'd like to pursue being a detective at a police station or anywhere else. That is basically what I want to be when I grow up.
My name is Kalewile Pheko. What I like to be when I grow up is, I'm not really sure what it's called, but I like to be that person who goes to a mine inside before a mine is to be constructed. I like to be that person who is to inspect the site, the rocks to be mined, and everything else that has to do with the mine.
And when I grow up, I'm actually interested in a number of things. Amongst them, there is civil engineering, which deals with the construction of bridges, roads, monuments and statues, and I'm more interested in the mathematical sector, which deals with the dimensions of such buildings. Secondly, I'm also interested in biomedical engineering, which deals with the construction of limbs such as hands and feet for patients who are in need of them. And then thirdly, I'm also fascinated by gynecology, which deals with the delivery of babies and also all reproductive illnesses related to the reproductive system.
When I grow up, I'd like to be an orthopedic surgeon because not many people in Africa are orthopedic surgeons, and not many people know what orthopedics is. So orthopedics is fixing bones, basically, just to make it simple. And perhaps I'd like to be a chef one day because I really enjoy cooking. I enjoy being in the kitchen, and I just love the smell of food, basically. And as you can see, I'm in my apron and I'm also in my school uniform. This just means that I've just finished an exam, my final exam, and I hope I did well. Actually, I believe I did well.
We are on your favorite show, Would You Say? Today, we're going to talk aviation. We talk about learning to be a pilot, about flying aeroplanes. I'm at Lesotho High School. I'm going to meet a young man who wants to become a pilot. His name is Tato Mofan. Let's go meet him. The whole point is, after we meet him, I'm going to introduce him to a student pilot, and then they can have a conversation and talk about these aeroplanes and flying things.
My name is Tebelezo Koromateko. I am Thabo Maofane's teacher at Lesotho High School. Well, Thabo is a very focused boy. He is a hard worker, and he is so much in love with aeroplanes, and he wants to be a pilot. He's so focused in his studies, his everyday life, and yeah, I think he'll be a good pilot.
Dad, how are you? Good, thanks. Pleased to meet you. I would like you to meet my friend Tabo. Tabo, yes. This young man here would like to be a pilot one day, and the two of you are going to talk and discuss his whole career. Cool. All right, fantastic. The show is all about career guidance, and today we come to you live and direct in Maseru Makwanyani Square, and we're talking aviation. There's no better place to talk about aeroplanes while we have a fighter aeroplane in the background. And today I have a gentleman. He says he wants to be a pilot. He's a young man at 16, Mr. Thabo Maofane. Brother, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, sir.
Fantastic. I've heard stuff about you, and they talk about you. They say you want to be a pilot. Would you say you want to be a pilot?
I would say that is very, very correct. I love aviation. I'm all for aviation. I would love to become a pilot.
Fantastic. I understand there is different kinds of pilots. Other pilots fly helicopters. I think they're called blade or rotor. And other pilots fly fixed wing. Which one are you more interested into?
I'm very interested in the fixed wing.
Fixed wing. I've got a message for you. Anything you want, you can achieve. That dream of yours, make sure it becomes possible. It's your responsibility. And I'm glad at 16, you already know what you want. Hey, Tibos.
Yes, sir.
Tebza is here. Ask him questions. Anything you want to know.
I have quite a few questions for you. One, the basic one. How did you know that you want to become a pilot? How did you know that this is your field?
First of all, I started off in marketing. All right, I was a marketing student. Studied for 4 years, worked, but it did not fulfill me completely. It was not in me completely. So I've always wanted to be a pilot, but I think due to circumstances, I did not do it immediately. But it has always been my destiny. It was a calling. Pilot was always within me, and then I finally got out of the closet and I did it.
So you started in marketing and then you went to piloting. How were your parents or your guardians towards your choice of a career? Because people, especially in Africa, they look at this career and say it's risky. They're saying flying is just putting your life at risk. So I'd like to know how you managed to convince them that being a pilot is the safest thing there is.
Well, funny enough, they actually reminded me about my dream. When I was in marketing, I worked at SAB. They were not very excited about, or happy rather, with my job.
That's South African breweries.
Breweries.
Alcohol all the way.
And they reminded me, Hemana, Mita, you want to do this pilot thing. And are you ever going to do it? And I reconsidered it, and I did it. Basically, they're the ones that reminded me that Mita is untrue.
You mentioned to him about parents. Do your parents have a problem? Do they feel it's too risky, you'd rather do something else? Parents always have ideas for what they want their children to be. Do your parents?
They support me in every way that I want to become a pilot, but it is true, being parents, they rather have a certain dream for me. My mom wants me to become a doctor. She thinks I can be a good surgeon. She says I can work well with my hands. And my dad thinks I can do a lot of forensics. I'm good in science. But I say no. Aviation is my field. They support me, but yes, as humans and as parents, they wish otherwise.
It's a great day, I'm feeling good. Oh, the possibilities of what I could. Oh, do with the world at my fingertips. My imagination brings a smile up to my lips. Oh, fascinated, I'm moving fast. Oh, I'm optimistic as the days go past. Oh, opportunity is here for me. So come along and take a look, because I want you to see. The world is yours, look a little bit closer. If you want it, come and get it. You can take it over. You can make your tomorrows what you want them to be. You got the power in your hands to shape your history. You gotta take it up a level and go up higher. Put more fuel in the tank and turn up the fire. Come on
Well, Thapelo Mosala is a hard worker, very focused as well, and I surely support his decision of being a pilot because he loves planes as well, and he's a very motivated boy. So as his teachers as well, we are behind him, we are behind his decision, and I'm definite that he'll make a good pilot one day as well.
What school did you enroll at, and what other options are there to enroll at a flight school?
Well, my aviation path was actually a bit of a bumpy one. It had a lot of turbulence, I should say. I started off at a school called SAFTA, South African Flight Training Academy. Things didn't go so well. School closed down, but I managed to get my first stripe there. I then moved on to a school called Bird Aviation, where I was trained by a gentleman called Derek Bird, who was flying from the age of 8. And
the name says it all.
Derek Bird, what a coincidence.
He's a great man. I had an opportunity to meet him. He's an amazing pilot.
And that's where I then pursued my career further and my training further rather, and got my PPL.
You mentioned stripes. You said that's where you got your first stripe.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to know, what are these stripes? Because pilots, when they have stripes on their shoulders, the higher they go.
Yeah.
So I want to know what's with the stripes.
What are the stripes? Is this the stuff on the...
Yeah, these are the stripes.
Oh.
These are the bars. Actually.
Okay,
The bars
okay.
is the actual term. The first stripe basically means you've gone solo. You've flown alone, but not too far, within an airspace that you are familiar with, and that's where you practice maneuvers.
So you've the first one means you've taken an aeroplane.
Yeah.
You went.
Yeah.
You came back.
Came back.
Alone. Solo.
Solo. That's the thing. Solo.
You've done that.
Yeah. And then the second one is basically PPL, private pilot license, whereby basically now you're a qualified holder of a brown book, it's called a private pilot license, and yeah, that's when you get your wings, which then gives you this baby right here.
Oh, so that also...
Yeah, the second stripe corresponds with the wing.
The wings. Yeah. So now you've got wings, you can fly.
The wings.
That's good to know, because I thought it's just there to say I'm a pilot.
No.
Okay, and then what other strips are there today?
There's then a third one, which is then commercial. That's when you get into the airlines. And then the fourth one, meaning basically you're captain.
So what are airlines looking for? Because almost every pilot, even the Air Force pilots, when they are done with their Air Force careers, they want to go commercial.
Yeah.
So what are commercial companies looking for in a pilot?
Well, basically it's all about experience. The amount of PIC hours, which meaning pilot in command, the more hours, the more they'll trust you with the plane. Basically, for instance, I'm not too sure, but SAA requires you to have at least about 1,000+ hours in order for them to recruit you. And yeah, it's like driving basically. The more you drive, the more experienced you are. Yeah.
And how many do you have now? Do you have any hours?
I I have 108 hours to my name.
100.
PIC.
Where would you like to see yourself? Where do you want to be and say, this is the epitome of my career?
The final destination for me would be South African Airways. That is the dream, and I will not stop until I make it there.
Aren't you interested in other airlines? There's Ethiopian Airlines, there's the Continentals in the USA.
I want to represent my country. I want to fly for South African Airways. So that's where I see myself. I like seeing other airlines and my friends flying for others, but my heart is with SA.
And it's rather close to home.
Yeah.
Lesotho does not have an airline, and that doesn't sit well with me.
No.
And you being the young man from Lesotho, your parents moved to South Africa. So if you feel like it, you're Lesotho. If you feel like it, you're South African. You're allowed. Sure. What's your take? This young man growing up in Lesotho, living in Lesotho, wanting to be a pilot in Lesotho, would you say it's a good move or dudes don't?
No, definitely. I say it's a good move. I like the fact that he's 16 and he already wants to do this. If I had known at the age of 16 that I want to do this, I would think I would be very, very far in love right now. But the fact that Lesotho's airline is shut down should not stop him at all. There's different means and different ways of making it happen. So, no, keep going, buddy.
And how do you feel that you want to be a pilot and you see him in his pilot's uniform? How does it feel?
Maybe a bit jealous.
I think that's good.
Maybe a bit jealous. But
Inspired?
Yes.
Motivated?
Inspired, very motivated.
Would you like to see yourself like that?
Here and beyond.
Fantastic.
This was quite helpful for me. I was a bit skeptical about if the piloting and career in aviation is right. I'm not sure about it. I wasn't sure about it before I met him. And I wasn't sure what schools I had to go to, the path I have to follow, anything. All I knew is that I'm a 16-year-old boy from Lesotho High School and I just want to become a pilot. But then I met him. I would like to thank this show for the opportunity. It was so very great. And I hope young people out there, you realize that aviation is fun. It's not only a career that is outside our field. Africans, we can do it. Aviation is all for us, and I'd love to see more black people flying. And if this isn't your career, there are many careers out there. Be sure about them, research. And I've gotten an opportunity to do this. You can also do something about your career. You can research, you can search anything about it, and make sure you never lose the passion for what you love just because someone said otherwise. I couldn't have gotten this opportunity if when someone said, aviation is a killing career, and I just listened to them and said, no, this is not for me. I want to be on the ground. I wouldn't have enjoyed my life. I would have done careers I am not good at. But finally, thanks to this show, I have met a person who has the same ideology as me. And now I'm very happy to say I love aviation. I'm going to become a pilot, and I hope I see you one day as my passenger.
Thabo is a young, inspired gentleman, basically, who is inspired and loves aviation. He has chosen the right path, according to me, and no, he will do very well. I will do my best to basically groom him, and teach him the right way to go in aviation. Aviation is basically very unknown to a lot of people, and it should be more exposed because there's very few black pilots out there. And females, males, people just need to know and join this career. Myself, in the progress of becoming a commercial pilot, I basically am 100 hours away, and in the future, I would definitely be there.
Before we came to sit here, you had this dream and passion that you want to be a pilot. After you've met him and had the discussion, would you say you still stand by your words, or after what you had, you might reconsider and say, I think I want to change now? Or would you say, I stand by my words, I want to be a pilot?
I'm not just standing by them. I'm not just happy that I chose to be a pilot. I feel like I'm flying right now, because what he's saying is basically telling me that everything is going to be okay just long as you focus as you are right now.
You're on track.
I am on the right track. I'm loving what he's been telling me. He's been telling me that this is good, and I was a bit skeptical about this because they're saying the jobs are few, and I have seen that this is the case, but now he's telling me that finally Africa is looking after itself. I've seen this with Ethiopian Airlines. It's been recruiting black pilots, and now SAA is true. I would like to see more of this, and I think by the time I start getting into aviation, there will be more of this. Africa is starting to see its own potential. There are starting to be more African pilots. So the job part is covered. I'm loving this.
Thabo Maofane, a young man who is clear at the age of 16 of what he wants. He is, without a shadow of a doubt, clear. I call you captain because in my eyes you're captain. I know you always say I'm not there yet, but I call you captain because it's only a matter of time before you pin it. Would you say, listening to the young man and the passion and the information he has, would you say he belongs to the aviation? Would you say he's a man for the career?
This man has the one thing that many men need in order for you to get into this field, and that's passion.
Passion.
He's at 16. He already knows so much about it. So
Flying solo, I had solo for the first time. I had the word aviation.
he told me the different types of planes. He's on the right track. We'll meet one day.
You heard it. The show, would you say, it's all about helping young people take a step towards their dream. It's just the affirmation of, yes, it's possible. Black child, you can. It's been great. It's been amazing.
We're going